People think jinn stories always start in some abandoned house or graveyard. Mine started on a normal street at dusk with a man who looked exactly like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Same build, same walk, same bald head catching the last light of the sun. But when he smiled at me, his mouth stretched far too wide, like his face was made of rubber and bone at the same time. And when I blinked, he was suddenly only a few inches from my face. I still don't like telling this story, but I need to tell it because it wasn't just a nightmare. It was something from the world of the unseen, and I walked straight into it without realizing. It was last autumn, a few days before Ramadan. I live in a quiet suburb, the kind where kids ride bikes until Maghrib, and you know which neighbor burns their toast every morning. That day, I'd gone out to buy some things for iftar, planning ahead. The sky was dimming into that purple-blue color, the wind cooler, and the adhan for Maghrib would be soon. I remember thinking I should walk faster because the Prophet ﷺ said the jinn spread out at dusk. I even whispered to myself the hadith from Al-Bukhari that we should keep the children in at Maghrib time because the shayateen scatter. But I was out anyway, clutching my shopping bag, telling myself, "You're fine, just make dhikr." So I started reciting Ayat al-Kursi under my breath. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. The street was almost empty, just the sound of distant cars and a dog barking somewhere. The lampposts were flickering on one by one. That's when I saw him. At the far end of the street, under a crooked street lamp, a massive figure stepped out of the shadow. He was wearing a black hoodie stretched over huge shoulders, grey joggers, black sneakers. His hands were at his sides, relaxed, like he owned the pavement. And the absurd thing, the first thing that made me almost laugh, was that he looked exactly like The Rock. Same thick neck, same jawline, even that intense, slightly frowning look he always has in movies. For half a second, I thought, is this some prank? Some look-alike? But then he turned his head, and the way his eyes locked on me, it was like he'd been waiting for me to see him. I slowed down. My heartbeat picked up a little. Stop being dramatic, I told myself. He's just a big guy walking. But my feet were already hesitating. We were the only two people on that stretch of road now. He started walking toward me. It was the walk that really made it uncanny. That same confident, heavy, movie star stride I'd seen 100 times on my phone screens. I even recognized the small forward swing of his arms, the way his chest was slightly out. It was identical. Too identical. I kept my eyes down, trying not to stare. Could feel him getting closer, each step measured, unhurried. I shifted my bag from one hand to the other, fingers tightening around the plastic. When he was about 20 meters away, curiosity got the better of me. I glanced up. That was the first time I noticed it. His face was The Rock's face, yes, but off. His skin looked stretched, too smooth, like there were no pores, no tiny imperfections. His eyes were dark brown, but flat, like glass, no warmth, no light. It was like someone had tried to replicate a face from memory and got the details wrong by a few millimeters. My stomach tightened. I lowered my gaze again and continued Ayat al-Kursi, a little faster now. لا تخده سنات ولا نوم. I told myself to cross the street, but my legs felt heavy. He was closer now. I could hear the rhythm of his footsteps, heavy but strangely hollow. Not the solid thud you'd expect from someone that big, more like a faint echo, as if he was walking on something else, somewhere else. I thought, maybe he'll just pass by, just keep walking. I decided not to look up again. Then I felt it. That sensation when someone is staring at you so intensely that your body notices before your mind does. The hairs on my arms stood up, my mouth went dry. I looked up. He had stopped a few meters away, directly in my path. The street lamp above him flickered twice, then steadied. He was standing there, perfectly straight, head slightly tilted. Those flat, dark eyes were fixed on me. "Excuse me," I managed, trying to step around him. My voice sounded thin. He smiled. His lips pulled back, and at first it looked normal, just a polite smile. But then they kept pulling, farther and farther. The corners of his mouth stretched toward his ears, too wide, too slow. The skin around his cheeks didn't crease right. It just seemed to elongate, as if something underneath was pushing outward. His teeth were wrong too many, too even, like a row of identical white stones embedded in gum that was just a shade too dark. My heart slammed against my ribs. I blinked, just a reflex. When my eyes opened, his face was inches from mine. No sound of movement, no footsteps. 1 second he'd been a few meters away, the next his nose was almost touching mine. I could see every unnatural detail of his face. His eyes were no longer flat brown, they were bottomless black, like someone had poured ink into them. His skin smelled faintly metallic, like hot coins. I froze. I wanted to scream, but my throat locked. I couldn't even step back. "Big fan?" he asked. The voice, it was almost perfect, deep, smooth, the same tone I'd heard in interviews. But layered under it was something else, a faint hiss, like wind slipping through a crack under a door. Every syllable seemed to echo a split second after he spoke it. I don't know you, I said. My own voice sounded like it was coming from underwater. His smile widened further, impossibly, his cheeks stretching so far I thought his face would split. I saw the corners of his mouth reach almost to his temples. The skin didn't tear, it just kept accommodating. "You know me," he whispered. "You've watched me for hours on your little screen." I hadn't told him that. I hadn't said anything about movies or shows. My chest tightened. In that moment, a verse flashed into my mind from Surah Al-A'raf. Indeed, he sees you, he and his tribe, from where you do not see them. Ibn Kathir's words echoed from something I'd once read, that jinn can take forms to deceive and frighten. This is not a man. The thought hit me with clarity. I forced my lips to move. "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim," I whispered. The change was instant. His smile flickered just slightly, like an image glitching. For a fraction of a second, I saw something behind the human face, something tall and thin and impossibly dark, like a shadow standing upright. Its outline rippled under the skin mask of the rock. His eyes narrowed. "Don't do that," he hissed. The second voice beneath his words rose, sharper, like nails on glass. My knees felt weak, but I clung to that tiny reaction. I straightened my backhand, with every trembling bit of strength, began reciting Ayaz al-Kursi out loud this time. "Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum." At the first words of the verse, his head twitched to the side as if something had yanked it. The street lamp above us flickered rapidly now, casting his face in stuttering light and shadow. In one flash he looked normal, in the next his features were shifting. Jaw too long, eyes too wide, cheeks caving in then swelling again. He leaned even closer until I could feel the coldness radiating from him. His smile dropped suddenly, replaced by a look of pure hatred. "Stop," he said, voice layered, vibrating. "You call him, I answer." I stumbled back a step. My legs finally obeyed, but my whole body was shaking. I kept reciting, my tongue clumsy, fighting the urge to bite it. "Lahu ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard." His form flickered. For a moment he stretched taller, his hoodie distorting like wet cloth, his shoulders narrowing into something more twisted. The human shape was slipping. He took one step towards me, but the movement was wrong, too fast, like a frame skipped. One moment he was a foot away, the next his forehead was almost touching mine, but now his eyes were empty sockets, not bloody, not gory, just depthless, pitch-black hollows. My voice broke on the verse. He leaned to my ear. His non-breath was colder than the evening air. "You think your little words will saving you," he whispered, 1,000 whispers in one. "You spend your days watching me, admiring me, filling your heart with my image, and now you remember him?" His words cut because they were true. Hours wasted on celebrities, on screens, too little on Quran. Tears burned in my eyes, but I forced myself to continue the verse, louder, almost choking. "Man dha alladhi yashfa'u indahu illa bi'idhnih." The air around us shifted. It felt heavier, pressing on my chest. For a moment, everything went silent. The dog, the cars, even the distant hum of the city. There was only my voice and that thing in front of me. He recoiled slightly, his skin rippling like something was trying to crawl out. His mouth opened wider and wider, unhinging until it was just a dark, yawning void swallowing the lower half of his face. From it came a low, rumbling sound that made my bones vibrate. Then, suddenly, from the masjid a few streets away, the adhan for Maghrib broke through the thick air. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. The effect was violent. He jerked backward as if he'd been struck. His face distorted, cycling through a dozen almost human versions of itself like a possessed slideshow. For a few terrifying frames, I saw something with skin like burned paper, limbs too long, eyes like molten coal. Then he was gone. No running, no fading. One blink he was there, the next, the space in front of me was empty, the air still. The street lamp above glowed steady, ordinary yellow. I was alone, swaying, my shopping bag crumpled in my shaking hand. I don't know how long I stood there before I realized I was sobbing. Somehow I made it home. I didn't tell my parents everything, just that I'd had a scare. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that impossible smile stretching across a stolen face. Later, I read more. Ibn Taymiyyah wrote that the jinn can imitate the forms humans know and fear, or love, to mislead and test them. Al-Qurtubi mentioned that they appear especially at the borders of day and night. All of it fit too perfectly. Now, when dusk comes, I'm careful. I keep the adhkar on my tongue, the Quran in my heart, the screens at a distance. Because I learned that day that the unseen doesn't need to look monstrous to be terrifying. It can wear a familiar face, walk with a famous swagger, and smile just a little too wide. And somewhere, in that thin veil between the worlds, something is watching, waiting for the moment you forget who truly protects you. Indeed, Allah is the best of protectors.